Hello, everybody. Welcome to our September Client Product Update webinar, where you'll learn what's new in Client. Welcome, everyone. We're going to wait a couple of seconds for everybody to be joining in, and we'll be starting. Right, I see some people coming in. Hi. All right, let's get started. Perfect. My name is Rosalie. I'm Client Customer Success Manager, and I'll be your host for today. And we also have our CEO, Yanick, joining today. Welcome, Yanick.
Bonjour, Rosalie. Very excited to be here and to talk about our cool new features and the new content we've created lately.
Nice. And finally, we have Melody, our customer support advisor, who will be answering your questions in the Q&A and chat today. All right, let's go to the next slide. We want this webinar to be super engaging. So how can we do that? You just need to be the best webinar participant ever. How can you do that? This means that when we're going to be launching polls, and we will, just take a couple of seconds to answer them. We want to know what you think, what our customers think about our product. And when we talk about some exciting features, use the react button at the bottom to send us some emoji. You can try it now if you want. And finally, great. Finally, if you have some questions, you can ask them in the Q&A. That's where Melody is going to be jumping in to help. Without further ado, let's start with our very first poll. All right, is this your first client webinar? Yes, no, I'm a regular, or no, I've been to a couple. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to answer, and then we'll go from there. Wow, this is great. So far, what I'm seeing, there's like half of the people that this is your first webinar. So welcome to all of you. And then a couple that are regular or that have been to a couple of webinars. So welcome back then. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Let's go to the agenda. So what's on today's agenda? We will be covering all the new features from version 49.8.3, which was released in late August. We're also going to be discussing our product roadmap, give you a little sneak peek into what our product team is currently working on. And then finally, we'll talk about some of the new content we created recently, and then share some client resources. All right, so Yanick, let's dive into it.
Perfect. Thanks, Rosalie. So we've done a lot of development based on the customer requests and some of the roadmap item that we had in the past. So what we're going to be showing up today, it's really about productivity with the keyboard navigation through the workspace. Also, some new visibility that's going to help you during the sales cycle and working with Placeholder, where we have improvement on the workspace and the resource planner. Plus checklist item, Kanban, and some timesheet stuff. So a lot of cool thing to be looking into. So I'm guessing, Rosalie, you want to see it? And I'm guessing that's why everybody in the webinar is also joining. So let's jump right into it. Let me go in my demo environment. And I'm going to start today from my home page. And just before going into the new features, I want to mention that all those release notes information and all those new features are available through our advisory bar. So if you go, drop that advisory bar in any one of your objects, you can come in here and consume those release notes and all the good feature that we deliver directly from your client environment. Don't forget as well that you can easily reach out to our advisory team and support team right from here. So if you have any support ticket or case you want to create, you can do it directly from here. That advisory bar is available throughout all our objects, so you can just drop it. It's been there a little while, so you should have it already. I want to start from the workspace, the global workspace, as this is one of my favorite interface in terms of looking at the. Let me zoom in just a little. In terms of looking at the different project and the portfolio of project I have. Today we're talking about the workspace keyboard navigation, but this global workspace allows you to really see at a glance how our different project progressing. As you can see, those are all projects, and I can have all my different views. And what I really like about this is that we can switch as well to a milestone view, which is really streamline or just reduce the noise, cut the noise, and you can really focus on the important dates across your different projects. So I just wanted to, before jumping in keyboard navigation, show you the power of that portfolio management tool, which is the global workspace. As you can see as well, we can put images as well. So any formula field that you create as images, you can put them in your column. We have a lot of indicator, but you can create your own. Today, the project we're going to be looking at is this one, Play Around. It's an implementation project. So let me switch to my estimation grid. You might have saw in the previous window that it is a project that is in a pipeline mode, meaning that it's a project that's still in the estimation state or in the scoping stage. And this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you how I work myself at Klient when I'm building customer roadmap, either for the future feature they have or for our product internally, or even for our own business development. I do this pretty much every day. I like to keep it very simple with only a few columns. The first thing here is to show you that we have now a shortcut legends that's allowing you to really access quickly everything I'm going to show you today. So I'm talking fast usually, so I'm going fast, but whatever you are Windows or Mac user, you have all those shortcuts that you can now refer to directly in the software. Okay, so now I'm going to drop my mouse and I'm going to do everything in keyboard. Make sense, Rosalie? All good
We're
so far?
watching you.
Okay. So this is the different phases across our project. So the first thing you can see is I can move from everywhere, and I can, this is a real-time editable grid, right? So I can come in and change values throughout it. And the first key, those are the arrow key I'm using now to go across. And to collapse some section, you just have to do Shift and the up and down key. The down key will open up and the up key will close those sections. So let me open up those one here. After that, let's say I wanna, for example, add a task. We have that test deploy. We don't have a training, so I can do Shift Enter, and it's gonna create a task just under. And this is the new behavior. The Shift Enter before was creating it at the bottom. Now it's really creating it just under of where you hitting it. So this make it easier to track. So you can come in here and add it. And actually, the team is telling me that no, we don't have to do training anymore. It's all part of development. If you hit the delete button, you can just delete your task as well. I never left my keyboard so far, and I've been able to play around my project like this. Okay. Another thing we can look at, let me just look at my agenda. The other thing we can do is that, for example, in the deploy, let's say we have that new training video that's going to be part of the deploy. I can come in my description field, hit enter. In this case, I have to hit the tab button a little bit more, but here I come and I have that a rich editable text fields that I can combine in. And let's say I have a new video, I can put it here. This is rich text. So whoop, I touched my mouse. It's you can put images and URL as well. There's a few keyboard navigation here. So if you do Control S, it's going to save. If you do Control Shift S, it's going to close. And if I had done Escape before editing, it would just have closed the window. Otherwise, it's going to prompt me. Now I'm back again. Didn't move, didn't touch the mouse. And I'm back here editing my project. Okay. Next thing I want to show you, it's let's say I'm in a different mode, and the way that this project is structured, it's my classic way of doing things. So initial implementation, milestone with the key dates, and the implementation is the deliverables. We like to give our customers some homework, so there's a section for that. And everything that's kind of future, we know they have to do it, but it's not a phase one. We like to park it here as well, so to raise exposure and make sure that the customer feel listened, and because we are planning for things. But let's say I'm in a mode that the customer is meeting us, and I'm meeting him, and he's telling me about new feature as a project manager. I would come in here in the new request. I would hit Control Enter, and it would create a child task in this case. Before it was at the same level. This one is a child task, and let's say you want to implement survey. And now I'm really, I don't care about the structure. I'm just taking notes. So the customer is saying, okay, I want a employee satisfaction survey. So if you saw, I was in the blue line. You want a CSAT survey. You want an NPS survey. So now they're not like properly indented, right? So again, with my keyboard, I can just use the Control key and select multiple. And with Shift, I can indent. Shift right, indent, and again another time to put them directly under survey. Okay, to undent, it would be the Shift and the left key. For our demo, let's keep it indented. So this is a first thing I want to show you. Pretty much every field, if I'm not mistaken, are available here. Let me switch to my to show you that to my other view with the timeline. Okay, so In this case here, we added those tasks to be done. And let's say we also starting to estimate, there's a component of how long it takes. So let's say it's 10 days duration. So you can see that it's also updating on the left, on the right side. So I can edit, I can come in here and edit my duration. And let's say this is telling me that it's not going to be ready to start before November. So I can just come in here and it's updating. And when you're going to be executing the project, the percentage completed as well, like everything within the platform is going across. So all this plus as well, we have other fields such as the this one here, the statuses, pick list value that can be also selected with the keyboard navigation. Meaning that really when you're estimating and you're not linking things, because when you're going to play with the timeline, you need your mouse. But when you're in the grid itself, keyboard navigation should get you pretty much everywhere if you know the shortcut properly. This is the way I can be very efficient creating project plan for our customers. The other one I want to mention before we move to the next one, it's just here, if I'm coming here and I'm the different column and I'm hitting, for example, the enter key from that leftmost side column is going to bring the task panel, the right side task panel. And again, I could move into it and go through and change if I wanted to. But also the other thing I wanted to show you to leave is the resources. Again, the same thing. Let me move to assembly. You can see your resources across your project from with the keyboard navigation. I think that's wrap up pretty much the workspace keyboard navigation. I don't think I've
missed you don't have to remember everything that was mentioned today. I know there was a lot, but after we'll send you the recording and you can even jump straight to that section.
There's a legend now.
Do it live at the same time than Yanick on your own workspace.
So right click, shortcut legend. So or you can watch again the video if you like.
All right.
So let's go back to our slide deck just to see the agenda. So the next one would be the workspace resource and the placeholder resource custom images. Again, I think Rosalie, we have a poll that we want to say client is a really good tool to use during the sales cycle. I think this is the poll, Rosalie.
Yeah, so we have two polls actually to cover our next two features. So the first one, we want to know, are you using client projects during the sales cycle to scope and estimate your projects? So it's a yes, no, I don't know, maybe someone else is doing it and I'm not aware. And then the second question that's going to be about the other feature we thought is, are you using the task checklist? Yes, no, I don't know. So I'll give you a couple of seconds and then we'll dive into those two new features with Yanick.
So
all right.
You want me to come back or wait for the results a few seconds, Rosalie? What do you want?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the results we got so far. So it looks like for the sales cycle, scoping and estimating, we're about half-half. So half people said, yes, they're doing it, and half people, they're not doing it. And then for the checklist, I think more people are not using the task checklist. So I'm sure this new feature maybe is going to pique their interest.
Yeah, perfect. So I will discuss how to use it and when to use it and the difference between a task and a checklist. So I think we're pretty good on time, so we can talk a little bit about this.
Perfect.
The project estimation, it's one of the biggest game changer for a company when you use projects during estimation process. First, because you can start from a template, and then with that grid that's holding everything together, from the task to the checklist item, which is more granular, to the resource and the schedule, so you can easily expose those milestones to your customer. All that project is really helping a ton. So what we improve in here with a placeholder is that because you use this project during the sales cycle to estimate, it also forecasts your future resource utilization. And for that, we use placeholder resources, as you know. And here we have those placeholder resources assigned. So for example, in this specific engagement, we have an engagement lead and a developer. Maybe the developer has 20 hours over scheduled here. But the concept is that you have those resources. The problem is that they all have the same picture. So when you're really planning, it's difficult to see. You need to hover on top of them to see, and it's a really small label. So the concept, the idea came to, can we put like custom images or picture for those? And this is exactly what we did. So let me open up my project resources page to show you how easy it is. So I have all my resources. You can also play with emojis. It's my new thing by putting emojis everywhere. But you can come in here. For example, we're going to change the engagement lead. This is what we had assigned on our project. We have that new button here that you will need to drop on your page of the project resource page. You need to drop this if you're an existing customer. If you're a new customer, it's going to be there already. And when you press on it, it's going to ask for a file. The idea is that you can design, for example, your own logo if you wanted, just with letters, so it's easy. Or perhaps you have a specific shield that that specific department use. For us in the engagement lead, we know they're Superman, so let's take that file of Superman as their icon. You try to talk the smallest JPEG file, just to make sure that you're not overloading. We're going to take everything, but just and then you can see here from the different fields, so you can put it or not in the page, but you can see the image and the ID. If you wanted to remove it, you just need to remove it from the ID at this point. If you have to upload it, to change it, you just reuse the button. Okay. So by doing this, now that engagement lead placeholder, again, it's not a person. For the person, it was already working with our the user in the system. But if I'm going back to my project and I just refresh my play around project, now I'm going to see that I have that new icon showing. And we have the same thing as well in the resource planner. So those images will be used across the system to show what we have. So for example, the engagement lead here, you can easily recognize them. So what you're going to select as the image is going to need to be relevant for you to identify that specific role. But besides that, now you're not going to have difficulty to know who's assigned when you're in this quoting stage and estimate. Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so this was the placeholder. Let's go back to the project that we were looking at. Sorry, click back. And let's look at the checklist now. So from the right side panel, if I open up the checklist tab, I can see I've already checklists. And the biggest difference between, let's say, there's three things. Okay, there's the task, there's the description of a task, and then there's task list, checklist. So the task itself, it's big enough that you can log time on it, and it's not too small that it's a micro things that you need to do. So and then the task always have a description. And when you use client and project for estimation, you use description to be customer facing. This way, when you're going to generate your statement of work, it's going to take that description and generate it automatically. So the description, the task, but checklist is more granular. And usually checklist is more internal stuff to make sure that you follow procedure and nothing falls in the cracks. So in the planning stage, for example, when you have a new project, maybe you have to do the sales to delivery transition meeting, validate the project plan, send invite for kickoff. So it's really structuring your business, because this is all based on a template. Next time when a new person come in or a new employee, you know exactly what needs to be done in every one of those stages. Maybe we're missing confirm the dates with our customer. So let me just add up a new task. It dropped here. And now the new feature is that we can drag and drop those tasks, so you can move them around. So this way, when you're getting a very long list of checklists, because sometimes it happens, you can reorder it and you can put kind of segmented in a certain way that it makes sense for your team. And the beauty as well now is that we have added, I don't think it was a previous release, but we have that I completed button that's going to really also make it streamlined to make sure that you're only focusing on what's left to be done, and you're not like all the noise of the uncompleted can be easily removed.
And if I can add something, Yanick, on the checklist, this is one of those features that we got a lot of requests about, being able to reorder and finally delivered. So I'm sure for whoever is already using the checklist, that's like a very big improvement. And maybe you haven't been using the checklist before because you could not do that. So we're also really eager to know, like after today, obviously everybody's going to go back and upgrade to that version. Let us know if this is game changer or not. Probably is, but we like to get that feedback. So.
And this component, because this is a component that can be also drop on the task itself. So if you maybe can open it up. I didn't check this scenario for the demo, so, but I do believe I do have that checklist. Here we go. You have that checklist component that you can drop on the task itself. So this way there's multiple way of handling that checklist through that specific component. Okay, close this back. Yeah. So next, we're back to Kanban and menu redesign. So this is about uniformity and across our different platform and tools. So let me switch to our Kanban. And this menu change has been applied, actually I have a slide there. This menu change has been applied on both the global Kanban and the project Kanban. This was the before menu, and this is the after menu. So as you can see, it's a lot less cluster. And it's giving a lot of room for added functionality now that we regroup stuff. And one big thing is to give you a landscape or more visibility across all those things. So everything that we can remove in terms of giving you more landscape to view. So you can see that big global Kanban label that was there before, it's non-existent now. Even the label on top has been removed to give more visibility on the content, which are the cards and not the menu. Okay, and the fact that we are redesigning our menu, this you will see it in the roadmap, but that redesign, this consistency across the menu and the icons is going to come across all our other views as well, including the planner and the workspace. So now I'm live in the environment. So you have your search and your add task here on the left. You have the gear to be able to go through your different grouping or your different sorting. You have your toggle if you want to go in the compact view to see more card, or if you want to hide some columns, you have those trigger here. Plus we have the filters and our traditional presets that are available from here. So it's just a menu redesign. Hopefully let us know if you find it more that the usage is good and if it flows better, but those changes are also coming, and similar changes are coming on our other interface. Yep. Oops. Last two. It's going to be about timesheets. Last three, actually. Timesheet. We have the mission timesheets notification and the comments mode. But before I jump into timesheet, the expense, and it's about multi-currency, so it's not as sexy to show and demo. So this one that we made improvement, and I'm not going to show anything today, but it's about improvement on the currency handling and also a new functionality about currency sign and everything about currency. It's always a bit tricky. So thanks for our customer that waited for that feature, but now it's delivered. So everything related to multi-currency for the expenses is there, so you can handle it. But let me go back and talk about timesheet. This is very key for anybody that's doing time and expense or really want to have their margin on their project. So in this specific case, I want to go through the process of looking at our help article. Rosalie, this is something that you and the support team are always sending, right? And they're well structured. This is starting from our release note that we can describe, and we can talk about what is that missing timesheet notification. Just before, that concept of missing timesheet notification is to make sure that your people are doing their timesheet on the frequency you've designed. So if you want them to submit their timesheet at the end of Friday, but that be at maybe at midnight, on Saturday morning, you send that notification to make sure that they will fill it up. So it comes, this is the notification and a functionality about the Apex and on-demand notification and logging activity. But we also have a dashboard that we're going to look at to restructure that project of approval of timesheets, sending timesheet over. So this way you can really invoice on time and reduce your time to cash or your invoicing cycle and your end of month cycle. Yeah. So like I said, this one, it's now that timesheet notification can be invoked via API through Apex action. So if you want to build some flow around it, I think out of the box we do one or two things, but if you want to bonify it and send more, you can do it. If you also, it's going to be available, we're going to see it, but as a global action. And every email that we're sending now is going to be logged in classic Salesforce activity, so you can track it. Okay. Looking at the help article, so when if you want to set it up, we have all that beautiful help article written here. You will see that you're going to be able to add that global action. So if you want to not invoke it automatically, but at the press of a button, you add this for some of your user, and then it's going to prompt you the time. All your resources are configured in terms of the number of hours you're expecting from them. And then that when you run and invoke this, it's going to send that notification. So And if you want to automate it with that Apex we just said, you have that procedure as well here that you can use. So please use our documentation if you want to set it up. This is very useful. And because we have time, let me just show you the dashboard also that we're packaging with it. So we have that timesheet validation dashboard. So for example, here on the left, we have missing timesheet that people that haven't submit. We have non-submitting. So missing timesheet is he didn't even created any entry. Not submitted is that's not been submitted either to your approval process or the end of the week. And then you have the approvers, the not approved. So you have all that information. I'm sorry, the data in here is not, it's my demo environment, it's not perfect. But you have, and then you can filter out as well, like which this week, last week, this month, last month. This being said, you have all that information to really know, okay, we're missing, it's supposed to be 40 hours, so he's at 5. You have that conditional formatting that's applying in here as well. So you do that before you're running your run, and this is usually being done as well after or before that sending notification. But the concept is really to get that time on that timesheet on time by your staff, so you can really invoice your customer faster. Okay. And the last one would be the timesheet comment. Okay, so timesheet comment. Let's go to my timesheets. And we have our classic timesheet that you recognize here. We've made a lot of speed improvement in the last few months. Now we're making a UI and control improvement as well. So we're continuing to bonify it. That tab bar is always very useful as well. As you can see, this is classic timesheet. What I have now is that I have a new comment mode here. And when I press on it, let me just show you why we have that. So the way that our timesheet work, we have those little bubble here that represent the time comments that you put. So usually our customer use this as well to send their invoice, so they know exactly on which task project and what our resource has done. So this is the level of transparency you want to go usually. But the problem is it's difficult to have an overview of all those comments at once. So that's why we have that comment mode. And also it's about productivity and really being able to do that timesheet. Nobody really likes doing it. Even if we're trying to make it fun, it's not the coolest thing. So at least you need to have the good tool. So this again for keyboard navigation, you can easily with the tab button go through, and then you have that mode that you can easily see all your time comments and if you're missing any of it. And then you can go ahead and just save and submit as usual. This is the mode. You don't have all the functionality of adding rows in it yet in this mode. We're gonna bonify it in other ways before, like doing the parity with the other one, but it's a switch. So if you just want to go back to the other mode, it's just a switch of a toggle. And we also introduce that hide weekend. So if you just want to see your real work week, you can easily toggle between those two. So hopefully this comment mode is going to be very useful for some of the folks. I know it's been a request and comments we receive quite often in the past. So yeah.
Perfect. Even internally, I know personally I'm going to be using it at the end of the week when I'm reviewing all my different entry and just making sure everything is cleaned up and looks good.
That's the thing, huh? You're going to promote the client inception, but we're the first user of our platform, right? So some of those requests are coming from our employees and our workforce. We want to be efficient ourselves, and that's why like it's a dream within a dream, and we want those features to be beneficial to you guys, our customers as well.
Yeah. That was a lot of cool features. So we're gonna close that little chapter maybe with one last poll. Well, not last poll, but one poll. We want to know of all the features we talked about. Let me just launch it. Of all the features we just talked about, which one are you most excited about? This again helps us. We have our prediction. We have internal poll like, oh, we think this one is going to be more popular. So we just want to know which of these features are you most excited about, and you can select more than one if you want. So we have the workspace keyboard shortcuts, the placeholder image, checklist reordering, menu redesign. Yeah, we have them.
I'm sure it's going to be the expense since I did such a great demonstration.
Yeah. All right. Oh,
and while you're waiting for the results, this was features, but we have a lot of fix as well. We're putting a lot of investment as well in maintaining all our QuickBooks accounting integration, Sage Intacct, all the accounting integration. So we have also that deck is going to be communicated to our customers. So if you want to look at those as well.
Yeah, and you have direct links as well to all of those. So, all right. So yeah, I think that would have been our prediction as well. It looks like most people, almost everybody, chose the checklist reordering as the one they're most excited about. So I'm expecting like a big spike in the checklist usage. And we also have the timesheet comment mode and hide weekends, very popular, and the missing timesheet notification, which makes
Kanban?
sense. Kanban, not so popular.
No, it's just a menu the redesign. Eventually, we can do a poll about how our people, customer are using the Kanban. I would be very interested to see use case as well.
And I think it kind of does make sense because the timesheet is one of those features that there's most users using the timesheet. So it makes sense that it's a big impactful one. Thank you so much, guys.
This is all part of our 49.8.3 release, which is our latest release. We have the next one, as we will see in the roadmap. Is that the time we show the roadmap, Rosalie? Is that where?
Yeah. So we're on the looking in the future part now. So yeah, let's talk about our roadmap. So customers are often asking us like what our product team is working on. And that's exactly why we're sharing our product roadmap right from our community. So this is what you're seeing on screen right now. And this is what I want to show you today. So when you log into the client community, Yanick showed you the release notes and those articles, but you can also access our roadmap tab, which is what we're doing right now. And just for the community, so some of the things are accessible to everybody, like when we're sharing articles, if you don't have a community login, it's still going to work. But the roadmap is one of those things in the community that you would need to log in to see. And if you've never accessed the community like as a login, you can always just email us at support@klient.com and ask, just send out like your email, your name, and we'll create a community login for you. And then after today, you'll be able to access all these different sections. So yeah, in terms of the roadmap, I think the screenshot, the screenshot should do. Yeah, essentially, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the product roadmap project. So what we're doing in our client community is we're sharing this specific project. We're showing all the previously released features, which you can just collapse if you don't want to see those. You can also see everything that's in progress, and then everything that our team is considering to do next. So if you have a customer community in your organization, this is something you can also set up. So sharing a specific project, and we make it view only, obviously, because we don't want you to decide, like, go ahead and decide what we're going to be working on next. And then, yeah. So if we have a look at what's next, you can see that our product team is working on a bunch of things in September. And then you can see there's a couple of things in October as well. And then some things in November that are considered, but not on a set release yet. So if we look at the September release, the first thing that we have, if we go a little bit up, would be the Project Analytics Lightning Web Component. This is going to help you get a deeper insight into your project KPI. And essentially, we're going to be showing like a little banner at the top of your project page with some key analytics. Obviously, we're going to show all that to you on our next webinar next month. You'll have to join if you want to see it for real. We're also going to be introducing color mapping options for the task status and priority. Again, just trying to deliver that more visual experience. So same with the placeholder, we're trying to add image. So you're going to have these colors in the workspace and the Kanban and the resource planner. So that's pretty cool. Then again, like today, Yanick showed you a lot of keyboard shortcuts. We're going to be expanding the right-click functionality as well. Right now, there's a couple of things you can do, but we're going to be adding, you're going to be able to add a task above or below in the workspace. You're going to be able to indent or outdent, so pushing up or down a level. So parent task or child task. You're going to be able to choose an assignee as well, and then update the task status. So these are all things you're going to be able to do from the right click. Some of these you can already do from the keyboard shortcuts, but we're just adding more functionality there. We're also going to be increasing the flexibility in the workspace overall when the filters are applied. So all these right click things that I mentioned, you're going to be able to do it even if you've got a filter on, which is not possible right now. And then earlier in the webinar, Yanick mentioned that we worked on a Kanban menu bar redesign. So we're also going to be working on the resource planner and the workspace menu bar, just again, to have everything aligned. And now if you have a quick look at, if we're scrolling down and we have a look at what's coming up in October and November, you may notice that there are a lot of resource planner related things coming up. So maybe Yanick, if you can talk a little bit around that.
Yeah, definitely. While the Workspace is an awesome grid and a planning tool, the Resource Planner is also another one of my favorite interface to really look at your scheduling. And so we're investing a lot in terms of development to make it more easy to use. And there is some clunkiness in some of the movement of blocks. So let's say, for example, when you want to move a different schedule for your employees, you have to take one block at a time. Now we're going to group them all together. So this is one of the big things we're going to be doing. We're going to bring back as well some add back some functionality in terms of when you're doing the resource plan, which is on work schedule hours. And there's another one about the resource plan, about the way that you're going to be able to see your visibility between what you have scheduled versus what is required. So it's easier to compare your resource when you're staffing your resource. All that link between the resource planner and assigning resource, it's where we're investing a lot. Plus continuing, like you said, improving the workspace and the accounting package as well. So if you guys are not using our out-of-the-box accounting package, this is a time saver and error saver too, because there's no duplication of information. So that's why we continue to invest in those, for example, QuickBook mapping or Sage Intacct that you might have seen below. And you're going to be excited to know as well that we're coming back with the concept of My Work, where you're going to have a list of kind of your overdue task in a list format. And I do believe we're in that first release, we're going to also have that calendar format. So we have that new page that we are redesigning and redoing. So it's going to be easier to have, like on the home screen, your My Work. Now you have to go. My Work is perfect for me in the grid and the Kanban, but we're going to have a more streamlined version of that My Work that's going to be available to all our customers.
Amazing. And then just to wrap up the roadmap section, it's a great occasion because we got our CEO there. So he's like literally like seeing what customers want to see in the product. So we're just going to launch a quick poll about the roadmap. So those features that are coming up next release, we just want to know which one you're more excited about. Again, we're kind of comparing against what we think you're more excited about. So we've got those options that I talked earlier about. And then, yeah, you can take a second to answer.
It's here. It's easier than earlier than I thought. That new view I was talking about, the availability and schedule, it's already scheduled for October, so it's not even in the future. So this one is exciting, but I didn't explain it well. So let me wait for the October and November webinar to showcase it.
Yeah, this is just the teaser, so people make sure to come back on the next webinars. All right, for the roadmap, actually, it looks like we've got a pretty balanced answers. Most popular project analytics component, resource planner, menu bar redesign, and task status and priority color mapping. Cool, thanks so much. And then the second poll, this is like the last one. After that, it's like the end of webinar survey. But we just want to make sure we're working on the right things. So I think we just, yeah. This last poll we want to do is, what interface would you like us to work on next? The Kanban, Resource Planner, Workspace. You can select more than one, but we just want to make sure we're aligned in terms of roadmap and what people are really looking into. I don't know if that one has worked or...
No, I think the other one was not closed. Is it possible?
Oh, you're right. Damn. I'm just launching now. All right, I'll leave it in the background and then just keep talking about other things. I think we can go to the next slide. Yeah. All right, and I think that was as predicted, Yanick.
Yeah.
You're seeing the answers, but essentially, which interface to work on next? 100% of people want us to work on Resource Planner. So that's great. That confirms that we're doing the right thing there. We also have some people for Workspace, and then the Kanban is less popular. I think it's for us maybe to talk to a couple of customers, figure out why the Kanban is less popular. Perhaps it's because the format it's in now is not
I think in the past it was not as friendly and as responsive as it is now, and we added functionality. But it's all the same. It's different lens on the same view. So
but stay tuned for the resource planner because lots of stuff coming up on that end. All right, perfect. So let's move along. We want to just talk a little bit about some of the new content we created in August, and I'm just going to do that part really quickly. We've put it all together in this slide, so you can grab the links after today. But essentially, last month, we created a lot of content around client customer community. So we've got some feature spotlights. We've got some client tips for business leaders. Those are written by Yanick himself. And we've got the How I Solve It videos. These are all around the same topic, and we'll keep creating more content like that. They're all available directly from our website. If you want to be notified whenever we create some new content, be sure to follow up on LinkedIn. We make a post every time there's something new. And then our newsletters as well, we recap any new content. And then in terms of client resources, we have a lot available. We've put a slide in the deck for every single thing that's available. Just first thing for you to know is if you need to upgrade or you want to upgrade after today, you can just head over to our community and grab the upgrade link. You can also review those release notes we mentioned. We will be following up with a recap email after today that includes this deck, the recording, the registration link for our next webinar on October 24th, and much, much more. Before we head out, I'm just going to be launching the end of webinar survey. So please take a minute to answer it. It should be taking the screen now. And then when you close your webinar as well, it should prompt you to answer. We really want your feedback. We're doing these webinars for you. And then if you have any other questions, reach out to support@klient.com. I think Melody has answered most questions in the chat, but if there's some follow-ups to be done, we'll email you directly. And if you were shy today in the chat and you want to send us a follow-up question, just use support@klient.com. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Anything you want to add, Yanick?
Yeah, let me go back because when class on this one, we just recorded our season 2, episode 1 of the client inception this week. And if you're interested in terms of project structure, this is what I've been talking a bit today. But we've pointed out the 5 key projects with one of our customer and partner for customer success. So it's really structuring your business, not just with billable project, but for internal project too. So let us know if you like that kind of content, because we want to continue creating content, but it needs to be content that you guys find useful. So in this one, I do believe there's some good nugget of information. So let us know how you found that season 2, episode 1, and you can register for the season 2 as well.
Yeah, and we'll include those links as well in the follow-up email. So yeah.
And now I'm done.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.